Good evening, and welcome back to Cyprus Daily News, where we cover today's top stories from our headquarters. I'm your host, Rohan Kumar. Now to the weather forecast with Aaliyah.
It's not looking too great for us, sadly, Rohan. A great storm has erupted, sending terrible winds and scattering rain all over the land and sea. However, we have just gotten news that our governor-to-be, Othello, is at sea and is making his way towards us at this very moment.
The great Othello, on his way to Cyprus in all this chaos? What bad timing. Maybe the gods are trying to signify something to us, that all this chaos ties to Othello's role in society. We have received breaking news and an update on Othello's situation. Now to Aaliyah.
Alright, now we've received an update on the situation. Aaliyah, can you tell us what's going on?
It appears as if a ship has just arrived on the shore of Cyprus. Could it be the noble Othello? Let's head down to our live action team at the docks.
Thank you, Rohan. I'm Jacqueline, and I'm currently reporting live the scene at which a ship has arrived here at the shores of Cyprus. A few people appear to have stepped off the ship, but none of them are Othello. Nope, he's not here. Well, then, let's get an interview with one of our guests of Cyprus. Hello, ma'am. How are you? And more importantly, who are you?
My name is Desdemona, and I'm from the island of Venice and came to Cyprus. Have you by any chance seen my husband, Othello?
Othello? Why, I came down here to the docks in hopes of capturing his arrival. Has he not traveled with you here from Venice?
No, unfortunately, he has not. I sure hope his ship has survived the storm. Cassio, I believe, has told me so.
Michael Cassio? The Moor's lieutenant? Why, if he said this, then I'm sure Othello's on his way. Look over there. A third ship appears to have arrived here at the shores. No doubt it's Othello, good lady.
Oh, how lucky. I shall now go and soak into my husband's words of love and devotion, just like the love and devotion that has completely consumed him as an individual.
Oh, okay then. Well, to wrap it up, I'm Jacqueline here at the shores of Cyprus, and this is Cyprus Daily News. Back to Rohan and Aaliyah for more of today's top stories. Thank you.
Hey kids, welcome back to History Corner. This is the series where I sit in the corner of my room and draw things on my tablet to make videos that produce very small amounts of money for a few weeks until this video becomes obsolete. Obsolete. No longer produced or used. Out of date. Sounds kinda like what Shakespeare should be, but no. Instead, schools drill this stuff into our brains for no apparent reason. Oh, yes, hi, I'm here for the job interview. Oh, yes, I'll just take your resume from you. Looks very nice. I just have one question for you. What would that be? What is the historical context of Othello? Oh, men with wigs? Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I thought so. So the next time Lindsay asks you a question like that, here's what you can tell that hippo-looking face. It was written in 1603 by none other than the frizzy-collared, melon-headed man himself, William Shakespeare, and follows Othello, the main character, a man of Moorish descent. Ah, the Moors. What a lovely place it is this time of year. No, not that kind of Moor, this kind of Moor. The kind of Moor that lived here, here, and here. Basically what happened is Islam came across northern Africa, up through Spain, and kind of around the general Mediterranean area. And then in the 11th century, the Europeans were like, yeah, we've had enough of this, so they used their good old-fashioned Catholicism and kicked them out. By the end of the 15th century, people from northern Africa were not very well liked due to their history, so going out in public was not the best choice. Like many of Shakespeare's plays, Othello was set in Italy, and his source for the plot was Giraldi Cinthio's Hectomatithi, published in 1565. With one of the stories in the volumes contains an unnamed Moor of Venice and his new bride, Desdemona. The events of Othello take place around the year 1500, when the Venetian and Ottoman empires were in conflict over cities, islands, and ports of the Mediterranean, most notably Cyprus. What, this piece of crap island? Who would want one of these? There's nothing here. The play was originally performed in 1604 by the King's Men to the court of King James I. English attitudes towards non-Europeans were largely shaped around government's diplomatic policies and, to a lesser extent, exotic stories brought back by travelers overseas. The term Moor was derived from the name of the country Martiana, but usually refers to people from North Africa, West Africa, or even more loosely, anybody who wasn't white. Of course, there was your generalized racism that still exists. Oh, you're not me, so I don't like you, and we're not going to get along, blah, blah, blah. Now, although Queen Elizabeth granted them full diplomatic recognition out of gratitude for their help in conquering Spain, she ended up deporting them in 1601, citing concerns about their irregular behavior and a fear that allowing them to stay in would cause upset amongst the rest of the people. England was also becoming quite overpopulated at this time. And now, until the 17th century, slavery wasn't really a thing, so these people weren't associated with that. Instead, they were discriminated against because of their sexuality, their brutal force, temper, and magical powers. As the setting for the original story, and a substitute for London, Venice provided the natural environment for the figure of the Moorish character to be both revered and despised. Now, according to Venetian law, the Venetian Republic's army general was required to be a foreigner. Since Shakespeare's Venetians reflect the Moors of English society, it should also follow that Venetian society would admire Othello for his valor and leadership, but still recoil at the notion of his marrying into its royal families. Shakespeare chose the same city for another one of his more famous portraits of an outsider, the Merchant of Venice, challenging his audience to consider, "Hath not a Jew eyes?" In both plays, Shakespeare calls on his audiences to consider the person before him, and makes the stage a venue for closer examination, where the audiences may begin to relate to others. Shakespeare could have also drawn inspiration from the Bible. I'm not reading another book again today. I'm not. The serpent in the Garden of Eden can be closely compared to that of the character of Iago, as they share similar character traits. They're both cunning, deceptive, and manipulative, and they feed off the greed of other people in order to achieve their goals. These three traits can also be used to describe another person we all know and love. That's right, Thanos. And you know what that means. Shakespeare is actually the Mad Titan himself. You know what else that means? English teachers are his little servants doing his jobs. That's why we're always getting this stuff memorized and drilled into us, because he wants to take over the world, just like Thanos did. So remember, kids, ban Shakespeare in school unless you want to be turned into a pile of dust. Thanks for listening.
Can't find the perfect Valentine's gift? Well, worry not. Your distress may finally be over. Here we have a very beautifully made dainty handkerchief, indeed woven by a 200-year-old Sibyl, or female prophet. Using silk from sacred worms and dye extracted from the hearts of mummified virgins, this superb item truly encaptures a woman's greatest power and essence.
The pattern of strawberries, which are dyed with 100% biological virgin's blood on a white background, allow for a beautiful contrast and truly soothe the eyes indeed. What makes this handkerchief special, however, is its mystical power. Symbolizing purity and trust, it embodies the fidelity of one's spouse.
Call 1-800-559-7234 or go to symbolism.handkerchief.com to get yours today. Caution: when used improperly, it may lead to undesirable reactions. Side effects include infidelity, jealousy, and mistrust.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
Thank you all for coming. Court is now in session. We are here today for the trial of Othello versus Brabantio. Can we get opening statements from the prosecution?
Your Honor, I am certain that my daughter has been tricked into marrying Othello through some kind of threat or deceit. Why else would she not ask my permission for her hand in marriage? If it weren't for fear, I'd find out, and luckily I did. Othello is a scoundrel and he needs to be punished for stealing my daughter away.
Brabantio, what reason do you have to believe that Othello is using illegal means to wear your daughter?
I know my daughter well. She would never go behind my back lest there be out of fear. Othello is very clever and a trained general. He would easily be able to threaten my daughter.
Can we get an opening statement from the defense?
I love Desdemona with all my heart. I would never hurt her. I love her more than the stars in the sky, and she loves me more than words can describe. I asked her to marry me because of true love.
Nonsense. Desdemona could never love a Moor.
You know what? Desdemona loves me for who I am. A gentleman.
O thou foul thief, where hast thou stowed my daughter? Damned as thou art, thou hast enchanted her. For I'll refer to me all sense of things. If she in chains of magic were not bound, whether a maid so tender, fair, and happy, so opposite her marriage that she shunned, the wealthy curled darlings of our nation would ever have to incur a general mock, run from her girdage to the sooty bosom of such a thing as thou, to fear, not to delight. Judge me, the world, if 'tis not gross incense, that thou hast practiced on her with foul charms. Abused her delicate youth with drugs or minerals that weaken the motion. All heavens disputed on, 'tis probable and palpable to thinking. I therefore apprehend and do attach thee to an abuser of the world, a practicer of arts inhibited, and of warrant. Lay hold upon him. If you do resist, subdue him at his peril.
Order! Order in my courthouse! Othello, if a Desdemona truly loved you, would she not be here to speak so herself? Or is she, as Brabantio claims, locked away? I am!
Desdemona?
Father, I am in love with Othello!
Nonsense, I'll hear nothing of it.
I think we should take a quick 30-minute break. Be back for 3 p.m. sharp.
Have you ever been tricked, manipulated, lied to? Well, we've got the answer to all your problems. Introducing BS, the new portable lie detector kit from Hasbro Games. This easy-to-assemble kit can sense bogus lies from the second they leave your mouth. Simply strap the receiving padding around your arm and wrap it tight. Don't worry, it's completely harmless and easy to use. The next step is to say something. Tell the truth and nothing happens. A flashing red light on the side of the machine will indicate that a lie has been detected. This fun-to-play toy is good for any occasion and comes in 7 different colors, including but not limited to red, blue, green, yellow, purple, and more. Call us now at 1-800-DETECTOR for 10% off shipping. But wait, there's more. If you call now, we'll give you the once-in-a-lifetime deal of 40% off the entire product. Wow, what an amazing deal. If you aren't completely satisfied with BS, you can return it within up to 60 days of purchase and get your money back guaranteed. Batteries are not included. Side effects may include dizziness, loss of consciousness, nosebleeds, electroshock, nausea, and broken friendships. Do not use BS if you have a heart condition. Hasbro Games are not responsible for any harm/side effects that may come from using BS. Please use responsibly and only call if 18+.
Court is back in session. Othello, please present your secondary argument.
Your Honor, do you know what it's like to be in love? Your heart skips a beat, you get butterflies in your stomach. I love Desdemona with that feeling of passion. So great that no other feeling comes close to it. Desdemona chose to marry me out of love and love alone. And if you cannot see that, then you are a heartless human being.
Othello, how long have you known Desdemona?
Well, I've known Desdemona for a long time. I'd say around 15 years.
And Brabantio, how long would you say you've known your wife for?
I'd say about 30 years.
Around how many years had you known your wife before you asked her to marry you?
I don't really remember, but I think it's around 13 to 16 years.
So don't you think that Othello and Desdemona, who've known each other for around 15 years around as well, would be fit for marriage?
Well, yes, but...
And would you say that your heart skipped a beat and you got butterflies in your stomach, as Othello did for Desdemona?
I guess, but like...
Wouldn't you say the two of them were like you and your wife were back then? And wouldn't you say that they were doing the exact same thing that you did?
You're right. I'm sorry, Othello, I misjudged you. But why would you go behind my back?
Forgive me, Brabantio, but I'm not gonna lie. You're a very scary man. And I was afraid that you're gonna hunt me down or something.
What? I'm not scary.
Yeah. Yes, of course. I'm sorry, sir.
I've seen enough. Case dismissed. Defendant is not guilty.
Tune in next week when 50-year-old defendant Macbeth pleads innocent for the murder of King Duncan, the beloved King of Scotland, who ruled for 17 years before being killed by his right-hand man.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
It's a husband's worst nightmare. His newlywed wife is cheating on him with the second in command. Or is he?
Ooh.
This is the reality for Othello, general in the Venetian army, and his wife Desdemona, who he's convinced is having an affair with his lieutenants.
My wife is a cheater. We used to be such a happy couple. That is until she broke my heart by sleeping with one of my closest friends.
I don't know what he's talking about. I've never cheated on him. Someone is filling his head with a bunch of lies, and I need to convince him to see the truth. He needs help. He needs someone to show him what's really going on here. He's always had a problem with being too jealous, and I'm actually worried with what might happen if he let himself get swept up in this illusion.
We're now joined by Desdemona, Othello's bride and potential cheater. So tell us, Desdemona, how did you or did you not cheat on Othello?
No, I would never ever cheat on him. He's the love of my life. I mean, I loved him so much. I was willing to defy my father and elope with him. And trust me, if you met my father, you'd understand how much I love him. And damn, that man is scary.
Oh, let's talk about Cassio. What is going on between you two? And why does Othello believe that you were cheating on him?
It's all because of that stupid handkerchief. I must have dropped it somewhere, and the next thing, it ends up in Cassio's room. I swear to God, someone else is behind this. For some reason, someone wants to convince Othello that I've cheated on him, and now I want to know why.
Yes, well, we all want to find that out, which is why you were here today with us. Now, one more question. In the video you showed us, you said that Othello had a problem with jealousy. What did you mean by that?
Well, he's always been the jealous type. Whenever he even sees a guy give me attention, he just flips out, even though I would never do anything. At first, I thought it was kind of sweet because he cares about me, but now I'm getting a little worried. If he truly believes that I've cheated on him, I'm honestly afraid his rage may drive him to do something very unlike his character.
Okay, thanks for joining me, Desdemona. We'll talk to you again in a while once we hear the other stories. Coming up after the break, we hear from Iago, the person many believe to be behind the whole debacle. Stick around, we'll be back shortly after this.
Listen to the new song Willow Tree by DJ DD. This song was written by DD to express the sadness and disappointment of lost love. If you have experienced a heartbreak, then you will totally love this song. This song symbolizes DD's alienation from her love as he believed she had cheated on him. Drama, emotion, and heartbreak. What's not to love about this song? Stream it now on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone. 20 new viewers just tuning in. Today I am joined by Othello and his friends and loved ones as I try to help him figure out whether or not his wife cheated on him and what to do about it. We are now joined by Iago, a man who many people believe is behind the rumors behind Desdemona's cheating. So tell me, Iago, are you behind the rumors? And just I need to remind you that if you lie, we will find out and you will be embarrassed on national TV.
Okay, fine, I'm the one behind the rumors. But to be fair, Othello deserved it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he didn't choose me as his lieutenant, even though I was so much more qualified than Cassio could. He has no experience and is literally the biggest nerd in the world. I was his friend and best subject for crying out loud. And instead of showing me appreciation and love, he just screwed me over. I had to do something to make him feel the same pain. Also, before I even started that rumor, I heard another rumor that Othello slept with my wife, Amelia.
You didn't really believe that though, did you?
Okay, I'll admit, I wasn't totally convinced, but it was a perfect excuse to start a rumor off. What can I say? It's an eye for an eye.
Oh, I'm still understanding. You wanted to ruin Othello's life just because he didn't promote you? Seems like we're missing something here. How can something as small as that motivate you to go through great lengths to hurt someone?
I don't know, I can't explain it. I just hate him. I hate anyone who stands in my way and doesn't give me what I want.
Oh, okay. One last question. I think all of us were amazed at how successful you were in convincing Othello of the alleged cheating. How did you do it?
Well, it wasn't that hard. I merely hinted a few things and organized for us to walk in on a few suspicious scenes, and boom, he was convinced. I don't know what's wrong with him, but that would have never worked on me. I mean, come on, how gullible do you have to be? But what can I say? I guess I just have a gift for this stuff.
You have a gift for lying and manipulating people who trust you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Iago. Why don't you go back to where you can keep an eye on you to make sure you don't hurt anyone else. I would now like to welcome our next guest, Iago's wife, Amelia. Thank you for joining us, Amelia.
Thanks for having me.
So, Amelia, we just heard from Iago, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about him. Some of the things he was saying were unsettling, to say the least. So, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, what's it like being married to a guy like him?
Well, honestly, my husband is an evil man. For years, I've been a subject to his manipulation and abuse, but no longer. Now is a time where I must take a stand. Too many women nowadays are being mistreated by their husbands. They eat us when they are hungry, but once they're full, they burp us out.
Very insightful. Now tell me, do you think Desdemona is right to be afraid of Othello, who is under the influence of your husband?
Yes, I think she's right to be afraid. There's just something about Othello that makes him so susceptible to manipulation. He's got some sort of deep-rooted flaw that makes him so jealous, and then it makes his reaction to that jealousy just so extreme. My husband also is a master manipulator. I mean, he is sneaky, smart, and has little remorse for the things and the people that he affects. I'm afraid that this whole situation will end up in a tragedy if we aren't able to sort this thing out.
Thank you for your time, Amelia. I wish you all the best. Coming up, we will hear from Othello, the man himself. I already have a couple ideas about what the problem here is, folks, and you'll find out shortly after the break.
Have you ever been cheated on? Have a husband who abuses you? Ever been manipulated by someone? Or maybe you're accused of murder? Call Barton Lawyers now to book an appointment. We deal with divorces, annulments, tort law, criminal law, and more. Call today at 1-800-254-4725 to get started on your new life. Barton Lawyers, giving you the upper hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, the person you have been waiting to see all night, the General of Venice himself, Othello.